YouTube fans, this is the Super Bowl preview here on Offsides fan-based football show. We've been going all out all year, and we have Randy to my left, Rolf to my right, and we're going to talk about the dynamic of this matchup, one of the best matchups, and we're so excited, just as a football fan to watch, is the Broncos' #1 offense versus Seattle's defense. Now, we're going to step side by side here. Obviously, we have two fans of opposing teams. We'll go to Randy real quick and talk to him on what each team has to do to win, and what does Denver have to do in order to do that, in order to win this game.
Well, what Denver has to do to win, it's Peyton Manning's got to be sharp.
Okay.
The Seattle defense, we've discussed this. Seattle's defense is good enough they don't scheme. So that means Peyton Manning gets to watch all this film on a defense that does everything the same every single week.
Okay.
Granted, it's the #1 defense. They did face Drew Brees.
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, I think. Yeah.
But this is the #1 offense of all time. This is the most efficient offense of all time.
Okay.
Drew Brees goes downfield. He needs more time. That fast defense could get to him. That fast defense could stay with his wide receivers.
Which it proved to do not once but twice.
Yeah.
In the Saints, right?
Yep. But with Peyton Manning, it's quick. He doesn't hold on to the ball. You're not going to sit there and get to just tee off on him. He's going to get rid of it within 2 seconds.
Okay.
And he is going to get rid of it to a plethora of wide receivers that he's been using all season.
Sure.
We know about the Thomases, we know about Welker, we know about Decker.
Yeah.
But he's also got Jacob Tamm, he's also got Caldwell. Even they used Green as a running back on a play in that game, in that AFC Championship game.
Right.
Moreno's a good running receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah, and Moreno's a good, and you got to look at also that running game is done a little bit better. I think the offensive line of the Broncos is a little bit bigger, can physically match up against that Seattle defense. It's just there's not going to be a lot of, once he gets to the second level, you're going to get 4 or 5 yards. You're not going to see Moreno break any big runs.
Okay.
Because everybody's going to be way too quick. And then I don't really fear that Seattle offense at all, because we've watched Russell Wilson run for his life all season long with wide receivers that can't get open.
Right.
I will almost guarantee that the Seattle Seahawks will not score more than 13 points.
Wow.
I do not see him scoring more than 13 points in that game. If there is more than 13 points, it's because the defense put up something.
Right, because the defense is, again, like you did allude to, they are quick, they are fast, they play much like a college team, because when you are running the ball, or let's say I throw the ball and just like a little 3-yard or 5-yard pass, okay, if the first defensive back misses you, guess what? There's another guy right there. I mean, they're that quick, and that makes them extremely, extremely dangerous. So
they swarm.
They do. They swarm. I mean, they play like a great team, like some of the 80s defenses that we used to have back in the day, where they actually, one guy missed you, this guy dove, and this guy dove, and then bam, they have you. And it was like, woo, it's a great game.
And that's gonna be the thing.
That's gonna be huge.
There will not be a lot of yak.
Yeah.
There will not. It's like you will not see those little. And I will hope to God that they get rid of those little dump screen passes off to the side. Seattle's defense is way too fast to fall for those.
The screen passes.
So they cannot do those. They've got to go at least forward with their throws, or otherwise they're just going to lose lots of yards.
So pretty much what you're saying is, in order for the Broncos to win, this relies upon one man and one man only. And that's Peyton Manning. That's the only way that the Broncos have a shot at winning this game.
Peyton Manning is going to be the reason they win or lose this game. It's like, it is not going to come down to, it's like if the Noshawn Moreno rushes for 150 yards or Monte Ball, can do. It's going to come down to Peyton Manning. It's been him all year long. Why wouldn't it be in this game?
Okay. Now, what about Seattle? What do they have to do to combat this awesome offense of the Denver Broncos? What do they have to do to win this game?
They just need to keep doing what they've been doing. They play solid D. They run the ball, and they take their shots with Russell Wilson when they need to.
When need to.
Yeah. They don't. I mean, they're not flashy. They haven't been all year.
Right.
Except when Russell breaks out and throws something deep because the coverage is blown.
Right.
But
as long as they gave him time to do that.
Yeah,
too,
that #1 offense that the Broncos have, as long as they can keep it close, if they're not in a shootout with them. They've got a shot.
They got a good shot. Yeah.
If it gets into a shootout, it's Denver all the way.
Right.
That offense isn't going to keep up with them.
Yeah. Right.
Play outstanding D, be physical. I think you'll see him jam the wide receivers at the line.
Right.
To slow down those routes.
And they're going to have to. They're going to have to.
They have to.
Considering all the dynamics that you're looking at across the field from him.
Well, he releases the ball in like 2.5 seconds, under 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you jam them at the line, give your lineman, because they only ever rush 4.
Yeah.
You give your lineman that extra time to get to Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he's just, if you don't jam them, everything's a timing route with Peyton Manning. So
it is.
You have to.
It is.
And with the Seattle secondary, they have the secondary to man up for that short amount of time if they can get to the quarterback.
Right. Well, and that's going to be, like you talked about, the timing. That's how Peyton Manning operates.
You have to disrupt that.
Yeah, you have to disrupt that. And if you do, Peyton Manning will throw those balls that not even are near the wide receiver because of the timing being disrupted. Because those defensive backs, phenomenal. I mean, they're absolutely amazing. They play the defensive back position very, very well.
Yeah, and if I was a defensive coach for the Seahawks, I would call maybe a cover one with a robber, where one of the safeties comes down and one of the safeties is up, or play your linebacker zone underneath, 2 of your linebackers zone underneath, because they run so many damn pick routes.
Yeah.
Somebody's always open underneath. That's how they all get open underneath. But if you have somebody extra down there that's not assigned to anybody, that's what I would do.
Right.
That would help take away some of that. I would put Sherman on Thomas.
On which Thomas?
On Demaryius Thomas.
Demaryius Thomas?
Yeah, which then...
so they're going to shut down pretty much the number one wideout for the Broncos.
Yeah, and then take your chances with the other guys.
Okay.
He's just so athletic. I mean, you can dump it to him short, and then he's gone.
He's gone.
If you got the wrong guy, the wrong guy assigned to him, he's gone.
Yeah. No, you're right. Definitely.
I would let Russell be Russell.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing. He runs around and he makes big plays more than he makes bad plays. So,
right. Now, as a level of expertise regarding both teams, weigh in favor of any other team, or does it really matter in this game?
I think it favors the Broncos. They've got. This is the youngest team in the league, I think.
Okay, Seattle is. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that hinders them a little bit in the Super Bowl? A little bit. Like, what are we seeing here? Like, kind of like Dolph Lundgren getting ready to fight Apollo Creed in Rocky IV. He looks up at the lights. He's like, "What is going on? What did I sign up for?" Or do you think Seattle's going to be kind of like that? Or?
I think it could be a little overwhelming if you've got a bunch of new people on your team, like newer to the league. I think that can be a little overwhelming, but I think Coach Carroll will have them
ready to go.
Well, but I think they showed some insane stat that says that the only player that's played on a Super Bowl out of these two teams is Peyton Manning.
No, you guys have 4.
There's 4.
It's like we have 4.
We have 0.
That's a very tiny number. You're still talking that there's 49 other players depending, that have never played for Denver. So I mean, this is Champ Bailey's first. Does he choke? I mean, is it
Does he get blinded? This could be
because
it for him
too. Does he go? I might not ever have a chance at this again. It's like, Champ, you may not.
You may not. Yeah.
These young players that are playing for Seattle, they may play free and loose because they may have the Dan Marino thought. I'm going to get to another one of these because I'm on a good team. Even though Dan Marino never made it to another one, they're going to still have that, I'll get back here again.
I have a chance to give them. They're not 38, 39 years of age saying,
they're very
my
young.
Time's almost up. I got to win this thing.
That's true. Their naivety could help them out.
Yeah. Well, but it could also prove beneficial for Seattle because they're loose.
Yeah.
They're like, woo, this is going to be fun. Yeah. Where like the Bronco players are, have been in the league for a while. This is it. Champagne's like looking at his locker. He's looking at his gray hairs. He's like, I don't know. He's like, this is gonna be tough. Mike Adams do the same thing. He's like, man, this is it. And so you got these dynamics here on both sides, and it's just interesting to see how different when you just talk about their age, how different they are, and just how young that team is, how older the Broncos are. I mean, it's interesting.
But I would still go on the side of experience here because it's like if you look at last year with Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
With Ray Lewis understood this was his last ride.
Yeah, this was it.
This was it. Everybody on that team understood this was Ray Lewis's last ride. They were going to do everything they could. I think a lot of the defensive players understand that for Champ Bailey. This is his last shot.
Yeah.
And they want to do everything in their chance to give this future Hall of Fame cornerback his Super Bowl ring. They don't want to let him down. And it's the same way on offense. Yeah, Manning's got the ring, but all those players, they hear all the talk. They hear all the talk that Manning's not the best ever. He's only the best regular season quarterback. They want him to be considered the best quarterback of all time.
And in order to do that, you have to have more Super Bowls.
So they're gonna play out of their heads too. So it's just going to be a great game. It's the youth, the speed, the energy of Seattle against probably the urgency, the experience of the Denver Broncos.
Right.
Everything's opposite in this game.
It is. It is.
Crazy.
And that's what's great about it. And just like, again, if you're not a fan per se of either team, but you're a fan of football, that's what makes this game so much fun. Is because you see the coaching styles are so different. You see the players are so different, but yet they came to the same show. After they put all the hard work, going to the gym, off season, picking up players in the off season, doing everything they have to do, and now here they are. And it's just crazy to see both these teams where they both started at and where they've ended up in the Super Bowl. Absolutely amazing.
And you got to look at it. Seattle and Denver both made a lot of free agent acquisitions to make their teams better, and pretty much every one of them worked.
Right.
I mean, they made great decisions.
They made decisions based upon the need of the team, not that, hey, who needs Larry Fitzgerald? I do, you know, or hey, can we do fantasy football and actually draft the entire team on my team and just throw away all the money? Right. I mean, these teams picked up players in necessary positions. You look at just the draft pick of Monte Ball going into as a running back and how exceptional he's been out of college into the NFL for us. I mean, he had his hangups in the beginning, but great move. I think some of the Seattle defensive guys like Cliff, right?
Cliff Averill.
I mean. He's been okay. Like back on his other teams, he's okay. But he came to this, and he's an absolute all-star. I mean, that guy flies around the end. I mean, he is quick.
Well, they picked up Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett in the offseason, and they're both. I mean, it just gives them rotation. They just keep fresh. They keep fresh defensive ends in there, and they just keep coming after you.
Yeah, and that is proved awesome for that team. Now, you bring up a good point. Keeping guys moved in, moved out, which so many NFL teams do. Well, we know Peyton Manning, he likes to get the play off. Let's go. Is that going to challenge Seattle? And is it going to keep them on their toes, per se? And is it going to gas them out for the fourth?
I don't think so. They're not changing them in and out per play. Each play, they can rotate their linemen for a series.
Sure.
Keep them fresh that way.
Okay, I gotcha.
I don't see them having to rotate them every play.
Gotcha.
Well, but Manning does that but Manning will do what he does, his hurry up and wait offense.
Yeah.
He basically rushes everybody to the line so that he can look at the defense, because if you rush everybody to the line, the defense can't substitute.
Yeah.
The defense has to just stay there with the same defensive personnel over and over again.
Which doesn't really hurt the Seahawks, because
in this case, Seattle,
But the thing is, if Seattle does want to bring in somebody else, they can't do it.
Right.
They've got to just let them sit on the sidelines and hope that Manning is not picking them apart by going, I found the weakness in this setup, and I'm going to exploit it all the way down the field, because I'm not going to let you sub out. I'm just going to keep rushing up to the line, and if you sub out, I'm going to sit there and pull off, I'm just going to dump it over and then penalty, and then I'm going to move up 5 yards anyway.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
I love the dynamic of number one offense versus number one defense. It's the best way to do it.
Yep. Yeah, and so the matchups to watch in this, what are we looking at when we talk about these teams? What are the matchups we want to are we going to gear up for watching this game? What do you think, Roll?
My top matchup to watch is all the other DBs versus their wide receivers and tight ends, besides whoever Sherman's covering.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key, because he's not going to throw at Sherman. He's not stupid.
Right. No.
I mean,
he is not.
Yeah.
Peyton is not going to go after your number one defensive back. He's going to typically stay away. Obviously, if he sees there's an opening, he'll go after it. But, I mean, typically he'll stay away and then try to exploit another option of, that guy's a little bit weaker. So I'm going to toss it on that side, the weak side.
And that's because he's a genius. So
he doesn't have to go after Sherman. I mean, he's good enough to go. He's smart enough to go to find your your weaknesses.
Any weakness. Yeah.
So that's the matchup I want to see. I want to see the Seahawks offensive line versus the pass rush of the Broncos.
The Broncos, yeah.
Because the offensive line of the Seahawks has struggled all year long.
Right.
I mean, it's just,
Right.
Russell's running for his life
Yeah, it
every
seems
game.
that way. He gets the ball, and sometimes he has to like tuck it underneath and figure out what's
I
going on.
just want to see how they handle the pass rush.
Yeah.
And then Denver's O-line versus Seattle's D-line, because that NASCAR package is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That Seattle has.
Yeah, it is interesting. Well, what kind of matchup you're looking for, Randy? When you think about this Super Bowl game coming up, what are you most interested in watching this game?
I'm just interested in seeing if Peyton Manning really can dissect that defense. That's what I want to see Manning against that defense. I want to see if all these stats that you keep hearing, the defense wins championships, running the football, all that stuff, I want to see if the number one offense to ever exist in the NFL can actually pick apart one of the best and fastest defenses I've ever seen. Yeah. That's what I'm the most interested in that. Yeah. And I do want to see if the Broncos offensive line can protect long enough. Because I don't think with Seattle's people coming up and jamming that he's going to be able to just get rid of it after 2 seconds.
No, it's not going to be.
He's going to have to hold on to it a little longer.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure, they're only going to rush forward. They don't do a lot of blitzing.
No.
Right.
So
they only need
can the 5 guys and leaving a running back in there stop that, their NASCAR package?
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because obviously the Broncos line is banged up. I mean, they lost some key players starting of the year, been losing players throughout the year.
But they played very well.
But they have been playing decent. I mean, not bad at all, where Peyton Manning's not getting blown up.
Yeah.
He did in a couple of games during the year.
A lot of that's Peyton Manning because he gets rid of it so quick.
And that's probably what he's had to adjust. Like, I can't hang on to this ball this long because I'm going to get leveled. Yeah, so I got to get rid of this thing. And so great adjustment there. But we will see what happens with this whole game, this team. I'm excited. It's just going to be absolutely amazing. The matchup I'm looking for is kind of the opposite. I'm looking for can the Broncos defense show up to this game and just shut down an offense? Because in the last couple of games, they did for the most part, but then you saw the teams kind of squeak back in the fourth quarter. And we know Seattle, we saw it all year. We even saw it against the Texans when they should have beat the Texans during the year, and they came back and beat them. Seattle's a 4-quarter team. They might lose the first, they might lose the second, they might even lose all 3 of those. But come to the fourth quarter, they're still playing football.
Yeah, that's what I said. As long as they keep it close, and Beast Mode starts getting stronger.
Exactly. And then they keep playing. And so it's the dynamic I see is, I understand what you're saying when it comes to Peyton Manning and having to beat this awesome defense. But I think it's that defense is going to have to show up and stop this offense and Marshawn Lynch. If he starts running the ball like crazy, the Broncos are in trouble. I mean, they're done. That's controlling the clock. That's keeping Manning where? Oh yeah, on the sidelines. So that's a problem. And if Manning is going to help us win this game, that's what's going to be the big part, is the defense stopping Marshawn Lynch. 3 and out, boom, here comes Manning. 3 and out, here comes Manning. You have 15 plays, 80 yards, touchdown, Seahawks. Yeah. That's perfect for them to win the game. That is absolutely perfect. So it's going to be, that's the matchup I'm looking for. Can Denver's defense show up? We're going to find out very, 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 very soon. Well, that's it for us, guys. We're going to look forward to seeing the Super Bowl. We're going to see you back here. We'll talk about the Super Bowl and some off-season action next time. We'll see you again. Thank you.